Hi! My name is Erin Joyamiel Chan, and today I'm gonna give you a tutorial on evaluating limits. Evaluating means to find the value of. Think of it as evaluating. In evaluating limits, all you gotta do is put the value of the limit. In other words, you will need to substitute. For example, the limit of x squared minus 3x plus 2 as x approaches to 5. A while ago, we learned that in evaluating limits, all you need to do is substitute the x. In this example, the x is 5. So, 5 squared minus 3 times 5 plus 2. 5 squared is equal to 25. And 3 times 5 is equal to 15. 15 plus 2 is equal to 17. So 25 minus 17 is equal to 12. That was just an overview. Today, we're going to talk about indeterminate limits, the factorable 0 over 0 form. Here is an example. The limit of x squared plus 2x plus 1 over x plus 1 as x approaches to negative 1. So we will now substitute the x. Negative 1 squared plus 2 times negative 1 plus 1 over negative 1 plus 1. Negative 1 squared is equal to positive 1, and negative 1 times 2 is equal to negative 2. Negative 1 plus 1 is equal to 0. And if we evaluate the numerator, 1 minus 2 plus 1, the answer will also be 0. When an evaluation produces the form 0 over 0, it is an indeterminate. Here are the steps in evaluating indeterminate limits. First, you will need to factor the numerator and the denominator. Number 2, divide out the common factors. And number 3, re-evaluate the limit. So let's go back to the example a while ago. When we will substitute the x, which is negative 1, the answer will be 0 over 0. So we learned that there are 3 steps in evaluating indeterminate limits. The first is to factor out the numerator or the denominator. So here, we will factor the numerator, which is x squared plus 2x plus 1. So, what are the factors of 1 that when you multiply it, the answer will be the number in the middle? 1, because 1 plus 1 is equal to 2. So we will write it as x plus 1 and x plus 1. To check if your factoring is correct, all you need to do is multiply this Let's try. When we will multiply x to x, the answer will be x squared. X times 1 is equal to 1x or x. One times x is equal to x, and 1 times 1 is equal to 1. Now, we will combine similar terms. x plus x is equal to 2x. So we will see that our factoring is the same. Our factoring is correct. Let's go back to the problem and write it as x plus 1 and x plus 1, the factors of the numerator, and then write the denominator because it is not a polynomial form. We don't need to factor it. The second step is to divide out all the common factors. We will now divide or cancel x plus 1 and x plus 1 because it is the same. So the answer will now be x plus 1. In the third step, we will reevaluate the limit by using this equation, the one that we just answered. So we will now write it as the limit of x plus 1 as x approaches to negative 1. We will substitute again. So the answer will be negative 1 plus 1, and negative 1 plus 1 is equal to 0. Let's take a look at more examples. The limit of x squared plus 4x minus 12 over x minus 2 as x approaches to 2. We will now substitute the x, which is 2. So 2 squared plus 4 times 2 minus 12 over 2 minus 2. 2 squared is equal to 4, and 4 times 2 is equal to 8. Four plus 8 is equal to 12, so 12 minus 12 and 2 minus 2 is equal to 0. This is an indeterminate form. So we will factor out the numerator x squared plus 4x minus 12 So what are the multiples of 12? It can be 6 and 2, 12 and 1, and 4 and 3. But when you subtract all of these, the answer should be 4. So, it will be 6 and 2 because 6 minus 2 is equal to 4. So, the factors are 6 and 2. Over x minus 2, you will cancel it out, which will be x plus 6. So now, the limit of x plus 6 as x approaches to 2, substitute 2 plus 6 is equal to 8. Another example that when evaluated by substitution, it produces the answer 0 over 0. So we proceed as follows. Factor the numerator and the denominator. The factors of the numerator are x minus 6 and x minus 4. And the factors of the denominator are x minus 4 and x plus 3. Step 2, to cancel out, cancel x minus 4 and x minus 4. And now, x minus 6 and x plus 3 is the answer. So the limit of x minus 6 over x plus 3 as x approaches to 4, substitute the x, which is 4. 4 minus 6 over 4 plus 3. 4 minus 6 is negative 2, and 4 plus 3 is 7. Thank you for watching my video. I hope you learned something today. Goodbye!